Greetings, friends, on this beautiful and warm spring day. FrJon here, and this week I'm coming to you from my back deck at our house down in Gaithersburg. And as I'm once more basking and glorying in God's beautiful creation, I'm thinking this week about love. And that's not without cause. If we look at our gospel lesson for this upcoming Sunday, we hear one of Jesus' great admonitions to love. I give you a new commandment, Jesus says, to love one another. Just as I have loved you, so you should love one another. And by this, everyone will know that you are my disciples. And I think there's a real profound truth in that gospel passage, not just about love, but about the way that we are called to love. Because in that passage, there is a communication of intentionality. We are not called to simply love when the opportunity arises, but we are called to seek out those moments and spaces and places where we can love, and to always be thoughtful and intentional about how it is that we are loving and caring for one another. Faith lived fully has an intentionality behind it. And that's a lesson that I think bears repeating, and a lesson that we often could benefit from being reminded of regularly. Because I think for me, and probably for many of us, we go through life and the sort of humdrumness of life without a whole lot of reflection and thought about how we're living our faith. We live it in the ways that it kind of pops up and occurs, but we don't give it that thoughtfulness and attentiveness and intentionality that Christ calls us into. You know, I love photography, and for many years now I've sort of practiced my photographic skills and cultivated that hobby through my digital devices, my phone, my iPad, whatever I sort of have before me. But I haven't really cultivated an intentionality, because with digital means it's so easy to just pull out my phone and snap off 10, 20, 30 photos, and then hopefully find one, that diamond in the rough, that's the perfect shot at the perfect moment. And just recently I've decided to sort of re-engage the practice of using film photography. And so I've acquired an old film camera and have started learning all of the sort of intricacies of setting up my shot and figuring out the ISO and the aperture and the shutter speed, and learning how to sort of put all of that together to form the perfect picture that I'm seeking. And that cultivation of practice requires intentionality. I have to be thoughtful about what I am framing, what I am shooting, what I am trying to capture. And in doing that, I've also been able to sort of re-experience a call to intentionality in my own faithfulness as well. Thinking more robustly and fully about how to take those moments and opportunities that pop up throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout time, to be intentionally faithful, sharing my faith with others, loving others, caring and being compassionate for others, doing those works of faith, those works of justice and mercy that God calls us into as faithful followers and disciples of Him. And so this week, as we hear that admonition to love, as we think more fully about what intentionality means for us in our responsiveness to God's call to love, I encourage you to take a few moments and ask yourselves how you can love more intentionally in your life. Who might be the people that could benefit from a check-in from you, a call, a reach out, just to see how they're doing, how life is going. Maybe there's someone that you're in need of repairing a relationship with. And this might be the call at this time to reach out and to begin that process of reconciliation. Love is complicated. Love's complex, don't get me wrong. But through loving, we see more clearly God's love for us. And as we love those around us, we feel more fully God's love in our lives. I hope, friends, that this day and all days find you blessed and nourished in the Spirit of our Lord.